In the world of art, there are a countable few who attain the stature of a guru. Pandit Rajabhau Sontakke, one of the foremost practitioners of the Gwalior Gharana, was one such rarity, a true guru who raised above the ordinary, dedicating his life and soul to the art of teaching music.
My father, Dr. R.B. Sontakke, he was born in this small village called Kamthi. It's very close to Nagpur and supposed to be a very colorful and beautiful town. And he was one amongst 3 children. My father's interest in playing lots of musical instruments came in the childhood only when he went to Shamra Vilaichi. Within 6 to 8 months or a year, I think Shamra Vilaichi was so sure about this talented student that the student can play any instrument that he lays his hands on. So, and Shamra Vilaichi ji was also a very, very versatile musician. He taught him sitar, he taught him harmonium, and my father remembers those days of he says the famous harmonium players used to come and sit and spend time with Shamra Vilaichi ji. And at that point of time, suddenly my father, he heard one recording of Pandit Omkarnath Thakur. And he was so moved that he said, no, I can't do anything else other than just going and learning from Panditji.
Thus began his musical journey under the legendary musician Pandit Omkarnath Thakur.
So my father used to say that the most beautiful thing in his life which happened was the fact that you can listen to your guru practice. It's very, very rare usually in our Hindustani music. What so happens that the guru's personal practice is a totally different thing and teaching the students is a totally different, the guru takes a different form altogether for teaching the students so that the students can be brought up to that level. But here my father had the advantage to live in the same house with Panditji and listen to this practice in the morning, which my father said the most heavenly experience of his life. And then Omkarnathji was a strict master in terms of there was a rule which said, on the right hand side you have to, with the right hand you have to play the tanpura and with the left hand has to be on the dagga, or that is the baya or the tabla. So, you have to play the tal here and the tanpura should continue here with the drone. Play the tal and sing the composition. So Omkarnathji used to always check it, say no, the right should go irrespective of what the left is doing. So that was a strange experience for my father and that was one of the basic reasons where he could actually teach most of his students by singing along with playing the tabla.
As he blossomed into a fine violinist, Pandit Rajabhau Sontakke accompanied Ustad Fayaz Khan from the Baroda Darbar.
My father was a great admirer of Fayaz Khan Sahab singing. When he was preparing for the accompaniment, he asked him, what should I be? Then he said, just do what you feel like. So then they went on stage, and those days accompaniment was not the new generation aggression was not there. It was always a shade behind the main artist. It was not supposed to be, I am showing that I am equal to whatever you do. It was not like that. So that whole era and that styling of accompaniment was a kind of different style where you just stayed behind what the ustad or the main person wanted. And in spite of that, Fayyaz Khan kept on egging him, saying, "Aur bajao, aaram se bajao, chalo, don't hesitate." So that was a great experience. My father says that very few people, in a lot of senior musicians, would actually go ahead and say, "Shabash, aur bajao," and all that.
Pandit Rajabhau Sontakke eventually followed his guru to Benares.
When Madan Mohan Malviya approached Pandit Omkarnath Thakur to start what he thought of as a music college, and this whole concept of starting the music college was initiated by Omkarnath ji. So they both moved together to Varanasi, where my father got this job in the college as an instructor, music instructor.
It was there that Pandit Rajabhau Sontakke met his future wife Mani Sontakke. Mani had travelled all the way to Benares from Kollegal, her native town in Karnataka, to pursue her passion, music.
And after almost 2 or 3 years of learning under Lalmani Mishra ji, violin lessons were handed over to my father. And that's when they both met for the first time. So she was his student learning violin. That time he had sight. Almost 2 years they knew each other. And then one fine day my father's this whole sight thing happened, and almost, I think, more than 2 years later, she decided to move into his life, because she felt that there was so much that he had to offer.
As a fellow musician and a wife, Mani Sontakke became the real force behind Pandit Rajabhau Sontakke's success. Her pursuit of Pandit Rajabhau Sontakke's musical education rewarded him with not just one, but 2 doctorate degrees.
I will be your side. That was the biggest thing which she thought she could do. And correctly so, because when he had joined there in Varanasi for teaching as an instructor, he didn't have any musical qualification. Though he was musically qualified, there were no papers which should show that he is actually musically qualified. Then she started pursuing my father with giving different music examinations, then finally brought him to the point of doing a doctorate. So my father's first doctorate happened in musicology. It was more of musicology and less of practical music. That was the first doctorate. And second, again, they worked on one more doctorate for him, which was more on the practical side. So he had a musicology doctorate in theoretically and another doctorate in practical. And one was vocal completely oriented, another was violin. And she was master's degree in more than 5 musical instruments, and she finally did her doctorate in music theory, and the psychological effect of music was her major theoretical contribution to what I feel. It's a great contribution to understand what is the psychological effect of music. She had used a very scientific basis of how ragas have to be designed, how different ragas have different psychological impact.
The Sontakkes came to Bangalore in 1989 to establish the Hindustani Sangeet Vidyapeeth with a mission to encourage people to seriously pursue music.
Their concept of teaching, as I said, was a student who comes to learn music is coming to learn music obviously because he doesn't know music. So there is no point in trying to reassert this in every class or in every interaction with the student that you don't know anything. It's not like that. It's about the child feeling very happy about the fact that he is coming to learn music. So the child should be made to feel happy.
ಗುರುಜಿ ಅಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನನಗೆ ಮನಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಹಿ ವಾಸ್ ಸೋ ಅಫೆಕ್ಷನೇಟ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಆ ಬೆಟ ತೋ ಆಗೈ ಬೆಟ ಹೀಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಹೆಸರು ಕೂಡ ಕರಿತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಾವೇನಾದರೂ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಪಕ್ಕಂತ ಏನಾದರೂ ಒಂದು ಹಿಡಿದ್ವಿ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಹಾಡಿದರೆ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಈ ಥರ ಕೆನ್ನೆ ತಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಶೈತಾನೆ ಶೈತಾನೆ ಅಂತ ಇದ್ರು ನಮಗೆ. ಅದು ನಂಗೆ ತುಂಬ ನೆನಪಿದೆ.
He was so liberal minded. He was so open minded. He said, everything is music. I am not going to judge you, or I'm not going to ask you to stop singing something just because you're singing Hindustani. He was very open-minded in that sense.
Once I was listening to Michael Jackson's Thriller. My father was watching it. He was quietly watching it without disturbing me and saying that, okay, stop all this English music, it's going to ruin your chances. So then one day he just asked me something beautiful. He said, you're liking what you're hearing? I said, yeah, it's lovely, but I don't know how he's doing it. He said, oh, great. If you're liking it, then good. Then tell me the rag he's doing it in. So that was the very, very beginning of the whole concept of the thought that yes, any form of music in this world could be read as a raga music. Every tune in this world is actually based on a rag.
Personality of the raga came out very specifically when he spoke. The good thing about him was he helped me understand the nuances of the raga, and he was open-minded enough to allow me to settle that into my gaiki, and he helped me use that in my gaiki. So my gaiki really did not one day suddenly become Gwalior gaiki. So it was Kirana. It got a little more tuning, a little more. It got the value of the Gwalior Gharana nuances that he used to give me. Even the approach to the tal was very nice. So these are the kind of distinguishing, shall I say, salient points about the teaching that Sontakke Guruji used to do.
He used to love every swara that he used to sing. Every expression was really great, and if you would try doing it, then you would realize that it's not all that simple as it looks like when he's singing. So there was so much of ease in his own singing and also teaching and communicating with students. He was so full of life, and his classes also were full of life. So there was that joy of music all around his classroom, and the entire house used to resonate with that music.
ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಏನಾದರೂ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಗಿಬಿಡ್ತು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಎಷ್ಟು ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ನನಗೆ ಫಾರ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಬೃಂದಾವನಿ ಸಾರಂಗ್ ರಾಗ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ರು. ಅದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಖಯಾಲದು. ಬನ ಬನ ಢೂಂಡನ ಜಾಊ ಮೇ, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತರದಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಒಂದು ಲೈನು. ಸೀಸ ಮುಕುಟ ಔರ್ ಕಾನ್ಹನ ಕುಂಡಲ ಬನ್ಸಿಧರ ಮನ. ಈ ಲೈನ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಇಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ತಿತ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ ನನ್ನ ತಿರ್ಗಾ ನನ್ನ ಕೈಲಿ ಹಾಡಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಿದ್ರು.
Sontakke Guruji and Guruma, Mani Auntie, were, of course, they were definitely complimenting each other, and they were such a nice musical couple, should I say, that they were inspirational to us. But also this aspect of they both had it in them, that music was being done for music's sake. Also, you find that sometimes when both are into music, one would think the other way, and that could be a possibility. But here both were in sync. They were propagating music and enjoying their music. They were peaceful. They had that ananda within them, as I could see.
I used to come and meet Guruji all the time, but I also used to meet Auntie, Guruji's wife. And I think it's because of her that I've done my degree in music.
So she was very clear about the fact that how much of musical talent you have and all your musical abilities might be, reaching the stars, but if you don't have the right documents to support for it, you cannot even claim for the minimal things. So in that way she was very clear. She used to talk about doing master's degree, then do a doctorate, because that basically goes on to say that you're very serious about your subject.
She pushed me every year. She said, you have to take this exam, you have to take this exam. And Guruji also used to say, take the exam, but Auntie kind of said, acha, come, fill up the form, give me the fees, put it, put your name into this list. And every year, somehow I managed to do the exam and pass the exams. And I think it's because of Auntie I can proudly say I'm a Hindustani vocal degree holder.
I started learning from my mother-in-law, whom we all used to call her Auntie then, and I continue to call her Auntie even after marriage. She instilled a lot of discipline into music. So for her, it was clear that it's not just the talent that you're born with. So it is a lot of hard work. So this was the discipline that she used to instill in all her students. and the importance of regular practice and a regular swar sadhana, which is like really the core of Hindustani classical music. There was a vision in both of them where they looked much beyond what one can see, one can imagine. Generally it's like music is a performing art and you go to the stage, you perform and then it's done. So they weren't like that. So they actually encouraged me, my mother-in-law especially, she encouraged me to go out and teach in schools in spite of having a full-fledged institution based on pure classical music. So I myself used to wonder why, is she telling me that this is also important.
When my wife started this whole teaching, getting into the online music education of computer through the Shankar Mahadevan Academy, there also there was a very clear, my mother was the most encouraging factor at home for that. And she was like, my God, this is so beautiful. This is exactly what I had dreamt. There used to be some students of Varanasi who used to contact her and say, Madi Behan ji, aap jab se gayi hain, hamara music education to band hi ho gaya. So my mom used to tell me that, okay, let's do one thing. Get me a tape recorder and some cassettes and I will record my lessons and I will send it by post to my students. So that was the kind of a vision and visibility they had. They used to think that, okay, I'll record my lessons and the student will go, the student will listen to these classes, then the student will record another singing of her role, then send it to me. Then way back in '89, this was, I used to think that she's she's thinking too much ahead of her time, I thought. And then today to see the fact that online music education is actually a reality. So that was the kind of a culture which they believed in. As much as possible, teach, as much as possible, try and involve the outer world into this whole process of learning.
The Sontakke's contribution to music education and propagation has been unparalleled in Karnataka, yet their legacy hardly travelled outside the music fraternity. Despite being grossly unrecognized in their own state, Pandit Rajabhau and Mani Sontakke remained unfazed and true to their own music.
I think Guruji was never interested in fame or his name to be out there in the papers and the public. He just was completely focused on this school. He wanted to teach his students and teach them well.
This was very rare. It's a rare quality to come by. To be just satisfied with propagating, teaching good, making good students, making their students very competent, making them performers, and then being happy with their music.
ಅವರಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ 50 ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಕಲ್ತರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಿಸ್ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ವಾಸ್ ಸೋ ಡೀಪ್. ನಾವು ಕಲ್ತಾಗೆ ನಮಗೆ ಒಂಚೂರು ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ನೂ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತೆ ಹೊರತು ವಿ ಕುಡ್ ನೆವರ್ ಮೆಷರ್, ವಿ ಕುಡ್ ನೆವರ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಟು ದ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಅಬಿಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಹಿಸ್ ದಟ್ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಮೈನ್ ಆಫ್ ಹಿಸ್ ನಾಲೆಜ್.
Their music was a spiritual recourse, their only known religion, their true tapasya.
Jana